feel like the theme for October was just this Taylor Swift song and this specific lyric, because I seriously have a problem, and it's me. I'm the problem. Today I'm here to talk about all the books that I got in October. I had a ridiculously fantastic book receiving month, and it was so great. I have 50 new books to add to my shelves. Do I need more books? No, I do not have space for these, but I will find a way. I've broken the haul up into different things, to different categories. I also want to preface this by saying I work for a publishing house, and I receive a lot of books from the publishers that we distribute for, as well as reviewing books, because I also blog and do this kind of thing, you know, and I post on Instagram. So those are the benefits. Then I went and bought things. In addition to that, The Office had a sale. So obviously I had money to spend because I received my first paycheck just before the sale. So I had money to spend. I'm really excited to talk about all of these books that I have gotten, and I'm so excited to share them with you. I will obviously preface where I got them from when I mention the stack, and I think without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. So as I mentioned, I do review books for all the publishing houses in South Africa, but I have a stack here that are from Jonathan Ball Publishers. I have received to review for them. The first one I have is Killjoy by Harley Jackson. This is a prequel novella to the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy. The Society for Soulless Girls. This arrived a bit late, but this is a very spooky book that would have been perfect to read in October, but I didn't. Cult classic, which follows a woman who has to confront all of her exes, and it's apparently a fantastic read. Love, Jason Thorne by Ella Mays, which is a romance. I'm very excited for this one because you can never have too many romances. Demon in the Wood by Lee Bardugo and Danny Pendergast. This is the graphic novel prequel series to Shadow and Bone. I'm very excited for this because I do plan on rereading Shadow and Bone in the upcoming months. The School for Good and Evil by Saman Chenani, I think is how you say his surname. And this is the Netflix cover because there is now a Netflix movie for this series. I also have Belladonna by Adeline Grace, which I am currently reading and thoroughly enjoying, and I'm forever enamored by this cover. I did find that I do have a print issue where I'm missing page 208. I do think that was an issue with one of the exclusive editions, I think Barnes & Noble edition. So I will be asking at work what to do about this because I do want a complete book. Now moving on to the perks of my job, meaning that these are the books I get because I work there. The first one I have is Daughter of Darkness by Catherine and Elizabeth Kaur. A proof copy of Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver because the finals have gone out, but they were spare proofs, so I grabbed one because I think I might be interested in this one. Not interested in I might be, like might read it. I mean, I might like this or I might not. This is not a genre that I pick up typically, but I am excited for this one. Titanic by Brandon Sanderson. This is the third book in the Skyward trilogy, and I'm excited to have this on my shelf. The Ghost Theatre by Matt Oseman. This is a proof, and this book comes out in May 2023. I also have this incredible proof, which I'm really excited for, and that is The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This is her new series, and I'm really excited for this. This is a Sinbad retelling, and they've done a fantastic job with the proof. I also have Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This is supposed to be a YA Song of Achilles. Ghost Reaper Girl. They were a surplus that arrived at our office essentially, and so I grabbed a copy because why not? Twisted Lies by Anna Wong, but I figured I would give the series a shot, and so I picked this up. More of a shot. I've already read Twisted Love and I liked it, but I didn't love it. I then have The American Roommate Experiment. I did not love The Spanish Love Deception, so I'm hoping that this one is better. These contain characters from The Spanish Love Deception. I then have another proof, which is A Good House for Children by Kate Collins. This comes out in March 2023 and pretty much I think April in South Africa. I have this cute children's book, which is The Last Pentista, I think is how you say it, by Donna Barbara Ugira. And this just sounded really cute actually, and I found it on my desk. I obviously then have Verity. We had a spare copy at the office, so I grabbed it. Ink Black Heart by Robert Galbraith. This is one that I thought I would try. This is probably the biggest one in the series with coming in at over 1,000 pages, but I figured I'd give this a go. This is a mystery thriller novel. It's part of the Strike novel. Jeffrey Archer next in line. The reason why I picked this up is because of this. How stunning. This is the collector's edition, and this also sounds really interesting and something that I might like to read. Obviously, it starts with us by Colleen Hoover. I'm currently reading this and hosting the read along with Jonathan Ball and Bargain Bucks, and yeah, we are making some progress in this. So obviously part of the perks of the job is that I host these read alongs and I plan them out and read the book with all the readers that join us. I then got this as a gift from one of the sales managers, and this is Healing Through Words by Rupi Kaur. This is her newest book of sorts and signed by Rupi, so fantastic time. And the last book that is part of my perks is this proof copy of A Mysterious Case of the Alperton Angels by Janice Hallett. Janice Hallett is a very prolific writer in the UK. She recently, or her latest release I think, is The Typhus Code. So I'm really excited for this one because this one looks so great, and I've had my eye on it since it was announced. Now moving on to the books that I've been gifted by friends and family, all for various reasons. The first one is Glint by Raylan Kennedy. This was gifted to me by my friend Roseanne. She had a spare copy, so she gave it to me so we could buddy read it. The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen. This I was gifted by my boyfriend because I have read 140 books for the year. So every 20 books I read, he buys me one book. I then have Under the Whispering Door and Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Both of these from my friend Leora, who gifted them to me as part of a book swap thing we had going. I then have a proof copy of The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake because my one friend Kelly had a spare, so she gave it to me. Then the last stack before we get into the ones I've purchased myself, these are from Penguin Random House South Africa and Lapa Uitgewers. They're like subdivision essentially. So the first book I have here is With Fire in Their Blood by Kat de la Corte. This is a fantasy and I'm excited for this one. Then I have Sacrifice to the Flies by Fani Falloon. This is a South African author that I really want to support and read from. And lastly, I have Fit Blunt Fairies because this is a really cute book that I thought would be an incredible read and fun. It's about basically poems about succulent fairies, if you will. Now we're getting into the books that I have actually purchased myself with my money. Don't ask me how or where. Somehow I bought these. I think last month I hauled The Winners by Frederick Buckman, and so I bought Beartown as well as Us Against You by Frederick Buckman from a friend who was moving overseas actually. In addition to those two books, I also bought The Queen of the Tearling and House of Dragons from her as well. This sounded really good. I have a small paperback copy of Beneath the Keep, so I'm trying to get these all to match. So as mentioned, my office had a sale, so a book sale to help fund our Christmas party, and I decided to support as much as I possibly could. And these are the books that I got from that sale. My intention for the sale was to kind of just get books that I know I would read, because I've done sales before where I've bought things and I've ended up unhauling them months later because I just wasn't interested and I just got excited because they were cheap. But the first ones I have here is Royal Assassin and Assassin's Quest by Robin Hobb. These are book 2 and book 3 in the Farseer trilogy, the first trilogy if I'm not mistaken. I do have Assassin's Apprentice on my shelf and now I have these two as well. I then picked up Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I'm actually hoping to pick this up sooner rather than later just because I know it's going to be a fun read. I have Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. If you know anything about me, I've read one Brandon Sanderson book my entire life and I have loved it so very much that I've collected all of the books he has written thus far. I also have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have been wanting to get this book for a very long time now, but I haven't been entirely sure which cover to get, but because this was so ridiculously cheap, I decided to get the movie or series tie-in edition, which I'm not too mad about because I love both of these actors very, very much, and I'm excited to pick up the series, especially since I know that Liz the Literary has loved this series, or like at least has loved the first book a lot, so I'm hoping to pick this up sooner rather than later. I then picked up Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This is because I have been wanting this book for a very long time, and initially I was borrowing a copy from my boyfriend's uncle, and I felt a little bit bad for having that for so long, so I took the chance because this cover is also seriously stunning. I mean, this is gorgeous. These are the Bloomsbury Modern Classic editions, if you're curious. Speaking of Brandon Sanderson, I completed my trilogy, the Skyward trilogy, by getting Skyward because I had Starsight and then Syntonic from The Office, and I needed this one in trade, and I found it at the sale, and I figured, you know what, why not? I also picked up Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. These are the Collins Classroom Classics. This is the edition they had, but I will probably replace this in the future once I've read it and enjoyed this classic. I don't enjoy many classics, but I figured I would pick up this one because Frankenstein has kind of made a resurgence, especially now around spooky season, and this is the original gothic fantasy book. I also picked up As Good As Dead by Holly Jackson. I have the first two in the series and now the prequel as well, and I figured I need this one, I might as well pick it up right now. I then found a hardcover copy of Bone Crier's Moon by Catherine Purdy, and I figured why not pick it up? It's been one that's kind of been on my radar, and this is obviously a Charlie Bowater cover, and I figured why not have it on my shelves. I then picked up Pachinko just because I think that my boyfriend's mom might enjoy this, and I also want to give this a go just because I've heard really incredible things about this book. I picked up two J.R.R. Tolkien books. I picked up the Silmarillion. I do not know how to say this ever. These are like the mass market, but these are okay, and I have Unfinished Tales of Numenor and Middle-earth. So if you don't know, Rings of Power follows the notes on Numenor and the fall of Numenor, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if the fall of Numenor is in this one, but I figured I would pick up these two because I am growing a Tolkien collection, and I figured why not. And I think these just matched a lot better. I couldn't find other matching sets, which is why I got these two. And then for unknown reason, I decided to grow my Stephen King collection, and I picked up Under the Dome by Stephen King. I remember watching the series and loving it, so I'm hoping to read it and then rewatch the series at some point, just because I never finished the TV series. I also have It by Stephen King. I think this is a very iconic Stephen King book. This is also the new covers for it. It's the TV tie-in edition for the new movie. And then I have Pet Sematary by Stephen King. This is the iconic tarot covers, which are not my favorite, but this one is not too bad. It kind of reminds me of my cat. Hey, I love to say it, but those are all the books that I got in October. That is all 50 bucks that I have received this month or bought this month, which is quite intense. Always very grateful for the opportunity to review books as well as to have the money to buy books. Books are not cheap, and I'm really happy that I got to add these to my collection. And I'm in the process of obviously organizing all of my shelves to make them look differently, and I have to still do all of these, but I'm really, really happy. And please let me know if you see any books on here that you think I should get to sooner rather than later. I'll also have my November TBR linked up in the info cards if you see any on there that you think I should read sooner rather than later. Thank you so very much for joining me today, and I'm really excited for all of these titles, but as always, I do not know when I'll get to them. I'll probably get to the things like graphic novels and manga a lot sooner rather than later, but I'm really excited for so many of these titles.